Subscribe now, or you'll never know how it ends. The glass slipped from my hand and shattered across the marble floor. The sharp crack cut through the dining room like thunder, silencing the hum of laughter, the clinking of silverware, the low murmur of conversations. For one fleeting second, all eyes turned to me. My uncle leaned back in his chair, his voice calm, venomous, the kind of calm that hides a blade behind a smile. "You were never one of us," he said, as if stating a simple fact. "Just a tool. And now you're empty." The words struck harder than the broken shards at my feet. Laughter followed, sharp, cruel, deliberate. My cousins smirked behind their glasses. My brother dropped his eyes to his plate, but couldn't hide the curl of satisfaction tugging at his lips. Even my mother, who for years had told me she believed in me, turned her face away, unable or unwilling to meet my gaze. I didn't speak. I didn't argue. I simply reached into my pocket and placed my phone on the polished oak table. Its screen glowed faintly, a quiet witness to everything they thought they had hidden. They had no idea what I had prepared. Months of recordings, transactions traced and documented, hidden cameras capturing late-night whispers, forged signatures, deals whispered in shadows. Every theft, every betrayal, stored, encrypted, waiting for this very night. I let them laugh. I let them think they had stripped me bare, because the truth was heavier than glass, and it was about to fall. The storm outside raged louder, wind pressing against the old windows, rattling the crystal chandelier. Thunder rolled in the distance, almost in sync with my heartbeat. Then it happened. The front door slammed open with a force that shook the walls. Heavy boots pounded against the hardwood floor. Commands barked through the air like gunfire. Dark-jacketed agents swept into the dining room, their badges glinting beneath the trembling chandelier light. The laughter died instantly. Forks clattered against porcelain. Wine glasses tipped over. Chairs scraped across the floor in sudden panic. The lead agent stepped forward, voice sharp, precise, unyielding. "Mr. Hargrove, you are under investigation for fraud, embezzlement, and conspiracy against federal law." The smirk slid from my uncle's face, replaced by a pallor that drained him of color. My cousins froze in their seats, eyes wide, mouths open in disbelief. My brother muttered, "This can't be real," but his voice cracked like glass breaking. My mother pressed a trembling hand against her lips as tears welled, her mask slipping for the first time. I leaned forward, resting my elbows on the table, my voice steady, colder than the storm outside. "You wanted me gone," I said softly, "but tonight, it's you who disappears." It hadn't always been this way. There was a time when I thought family was safety, when I believed their words, when I trusted that blood meant loyalty. But loyalty, I learned, is just a word the powerful use to keep the quiet ones in line. I had left home with nothing but a second-hand laptop, a dream, and a hunger no one else understood. While they mocked me, I built. While they vacationed, I worked. My empire grew in silence. Contracts, clients, a company that went from a rented desk in a shared space to glass towers downtown. I thought success would bring respect. Instead, it painted a target on my back. At first, it was subtle. A few withdrawals from my accounts. Numbers that didn't add up. "It's just a mistake," they said. "We'll fix it." I let it go. I wanted to believe them. But then came the forged signatures. My father's handwriting on authorizations I had never agreed to. Funds siphoned off to accounts I didn't recognize. The empire I built with sleepless nights and bloodshot eyes slowly stripped from beneath me. I remember the night I saw it all. The balance reading 0, the confirmation that my life's work had been drained. My chest hollowed out, my breath vanished. And when I confronted them, they laughed, as if my ruin was a punchline at their table. That night, something inside me shifted. Not rage, not despair, something colder. A decision. I would not scream. I would not beg. I would not crumble. I would dismantle them piece by piece. They thought I was broken, but I was building. I created shadow accounts, layers of trust in shell corporations that no one, not even auditors, could trace back to me. I withdrew silently, placing assets offshore, storing evidence in encrypted drives, locking every secret behind digital walls. I studied them, Their habits, their weaknesses, their greed. I attended their dinners, smiled at their jokes, played the quiet child again, invisible, unthreatening. And while they laughed, I recorded every insult, every whispered scheme, every illegal deal made over expensive wine. I set the stage for tonight. The reunion. They thought I had come crawling back, desperate for approval. They thought this was their victory dinner. But this table, this room, it was my trap, and now the jaws had snapped shut. Agents swarmed the dining room. My uncle stammered protests, his voice cracking, words tumbling over each other. My cousins tried to slip away, but two agents blocked the door. My brother, pale and shaking, looked at me as if seeing me for the first time. You did this, he whispered. I met his gaze, calm, unflinching. No, I said, you all did this to yourselves. I just gave the world the proof. The lead agent dropped a thick folder onto the table. Pages spilled out, bank statements, signed contracts, emails, photographs. Evidence. The very evidence I had gathered. The color drained from their faces as they flipped through the pages. Every secret they thought buried was now staring back at them in black and white. My uncle roared, lunging for me, but two agents restrained him instantly, forcing his hand behind his back as cuffs clicked into place. He twisted, snarling, veins bulging in his neck. You betrayed your own blood, he spat. I leaned back in my chair, my voice like ice. No, you betrayed me. You betrayed yourselves. Blood is not loyalty. Loyalty is earned, and none of you ever earned mine. My mother's sobs broke through the chaos. My cousin sat frozen, unable to move. My brother sank into his chair, face buried in his hands. The storm outside raged louder, rattling the windows as if the world itself wanted to watch them fall. The agents dragged them out one by one. Shouts echoed through the hall. Curses hurled in my direction. Doors slammed, handcuffs clinked, voices faded. And then silence. Heavy, deafening silence. I stood slowly, smoothing the wrinkles from my dress, adjusting the strap of my bag. The dining room was a battlefield now. Glasses toppled. Wine spilled across the white tablecloth like blood. Photographs scattered among broken shards of crystal. At the doorway, I paused and looked back one last time. My voice was steady, almost gentle. Family first, right? Consider this me putting myself first. And then I stepped out into the storm. The rain hit my face like needles, the wind whipping my hair across my cheeks. My car waited at the curb, engine humming softly. I slid inside, closing the door against the chaos I left behind. My phone buzzed endlessly, calls, texts, desperate apologies, empty promises. I ignored them all. I poured myself a drink from the crystal flask tucked into my bag, the amber liquid catching the lightning outside. The silence was intoxicating. Freedom was intoxicating. For the first time in my life, I felt untouchable. The waves crashed against the cliffs below as if applauding the end of an old world and the beginning of mine. I raised a glass to my lips, savoring the moment. I was no longer the quiet one, no longer the tool. I was the storm, and they never saw me coming.